and YouTube reports that we are live. So we're going to just give that a little bit of a buffer to make sure it isn't lying to us as it normally does. Because Google lies.
Looks good.
I think we're good.
Yep.
Welcome to the Ubuntu Touch Q&A, the UBports Foundation show discussing the development of Ubuntu Touch and our community's questions. This is episode 61, streamed live on October 19th, 2019. We're 61 episodes into this, and there is no chance we are slowing down. My name is Dalton, and joining me this week are Marius.
Hello.
Florian.
Hello.
And Jan.
Hello.
We have a tepid roundup of questions and news to talk about today. So thank you to everyone who has submitted questions because they bring up some interesting topics, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that we need to start by talking about Ubuntu Touch OTA 11, which is almost here. So, thank you to everyone who's been helping us with the QA, that is quality assurance, not Q&A, which is this show, effort on Ubuntu Touch OTA 11. It's been a huge help for you guys to be out there testing it out, saying what works and what doesn't, and ultimately leading to us needing to respin the image twice at this point. So, if it weren't for all of you out there, the bugs that you found would have gotten into the final image, so thank you so much. So, a couple things have been fixed, including an issue with Morph Browser's private mode, and that was the big one, as well as a package not getting into the image that was supposed to. So, thank you to everyone who found those. As a reminder, this update brings some excellent new features, such as keyboard navigation, where you can hold down the spacebar and then move your cursor around in all directions, as well as begin a selection box by double tapping. That's really cool. I love that. Along with cut, copy, paste, and a bunch of other options. We also have improvements to the Morph browser. You are now able to set settings on a per domain basis for some things, as well as remember and allow or deny for location and other access for those domains. Thank you for posting that, Marius. Improvements to push notifications. You no longer need to sign into Ubuntu One in order to get push notifications. Yes. And of course, as always, this lays the groundwork for Ubuntu Touch OTA 12, where we're going to be finally merging Unity 8 and Mir. And that is the newest version of Unity 8. The last one that Canonical made before dropping the project. It's been a long road, and if you check out the project board at github.com/UBports in the projects tab, that Unity 8 plus Mir upgrade, there's been a lot of work done.
Ooh, yeah.
A lot of them were closed by Marius, but some of them were also closed by me.
Some of them he couldn't close because, we also have power. He's not the only one closing Unity bugs.
Well, to be honest, it hasn't just been Unity bugs with this one. It's the new Mir and it's the Android Mir platform that we had split out to a different repository, and Qt Mir upgrades and Mirror, and it has been a lot.
Yes. There's a lot going into that update, so it might be a little slower than our other cycles, but we do plan to get this one out, as always, in that 6 to 8 week development cycle. So we'll see if this one keeps us honest or not.
And for all listening that remember that question that we had some time ago, so these are the changes from Edge channel that we are going to bring to Devil. After that, this is a point of no return. So what's in Devil then must land into OTA 12 at some point. So that's why we held it back a little bit longer to make everything ready, that we don't break too much when we move into Devil, because otherwise we cannot move forward with OTS anymore.
Yes, correct.
But the future is bright. We're testing this on many devices already, some of us, some of the community. Thanks a lot for testing and reporting and continuing to report. Because for sure there are still some things that we didn't see. If more people test it on their daily drivers, then we will find the last things that we have to fix probably. But it's already really, really solid, and I have it on my phone now for weeks. There are no real crashes, nothing really that I would say blocks us from pushing this towards OTA 12. So
absolutely,
we are ready.
Yeah,
we're ready for that.
Also,
Doesn't
before
it
we
feel
continue,
good?
Yeah,
Go, Mars.
I answered that, but it was a comment to Florian. But
All
Give me
right.
your comment.
Yes.
oh, so yeah, I see that Bouchon is watching. DKD guy, hello.
Hi. Hi, the KD guy.
Some interesting stuff coming up from him and us, sooner or later.
All right. Let's take this. Hello to Russia and Slovakia. Glad you're watching tonight.
The
morning.
whole of Russia
I
and
don't
Russia.
remember how time zones work. I'm sorry. All right. Let's do this next one.
Yep.
So, after some questions for our last Q&A about the status of Ubuntu Touch on the Librem 5 smartphone, we put together a small summary of things that we'd like to, where the project is, and we contacted Purism to fill in the things that we're missing on that. So we've been able to bring up a basic Ubuntu Touch image on our Librem 5 dev kit. But now that those basics are up, the real hard work begins. So that's where we would work on, for example, battery life, push notifications, and finding other issues that weren't brought up during that easy part. The things that make your phone actually usable as a phone and not a toy. Luckily, some of those problems that we need to solve are problems that we need to solve for like Librem 5, PinePhone, Raspberry Pi, all of those devices that run on mainline kernels. For example, running the Unity System Compositor, which is what gives you that Ubuntu Touch screen when you boot up, and it actually serves a lot more purposes that we didn't completely appreciate until recently, such as allowing you to suspend your session by pressing the power button so that it can come back instantly from sleep. So that's something that we should talk about in more depth sometime. Someone should ask a question about that. Hint, hint. Unfortunately, back on topic, hardware changes between the Librem 5 dev kit and the final phone mean that we can't be certain that the fixes that we're making on the dev kit are actually going to matter to customers, which those are the people who we really need to care about. In particular, we believe that they used a new revision of the i.mx8m system on a chip, which solves issues with power management, and those fixes are not and cannot be present on the dev kit. So it has issues with entering suspend states, and it uses a lot more power generally than it should. Since that's a hardware fix, there's no way that we can test things like suspend states on our dev kits and other such issues like that. For that reason, we cannot commit to more development on the Librem 5 platform until we have those final devices in hand. We contacted Purism for clarification on whether we would receive the final Librem 5 hardware, and they informed us that we will be receiving hardware Librem 5 devices sometime in 2020. Purism says they want to ship to backers who paid for the Librem 5 device first, similar to how the dev kits were arranged, with us receiving our dev kit at the end of July, whereas they had begun shipping in January. Now, we know that many ordered the Librem 5 with plans to install Ubuntu Touch on it soon after release day or very close, or maybe to select it from the Purism store as an option, pre-installed. But unfortunately, at this time, it seems that won't be possible. We want to assure all of the Librem 5 backers that our intention remains the same as always, to deliver the best Ubuntu Touch experience on that device, but it has to wait until we have those final devices in hand. So we're going to update you further on any progress on that topic as it becomes available to us. So, and if you have any questions on that, please post in our forum at forums.ubports.com in the porting section, or over at forums.pura.sum if you would like to contact them instead. Now, we're going to try to answer any questions that you have in our forum on this topic, and if necessary, bring them up on our next show. So this is the topic that's probably going to change as we continue to talk about this. And again, we will bring up any questions that are asked often or anything like that on our next Q&A. So if you want to stick around until then, we'll also have that information available then. So thank you. All right. Jan, would you like to talk a little bit about what you've been doing this week?
I was at Budokan last week, Budokan Europe, and it was absolutely amazing. So I talked to so many Ubuntu Touch users there. I was absolutely blown away by how many.
I mean, some of those pictures were amazing of how many people had devices out.
Yeah. So
that made my day so badly. I saw that, and it was like amazing to see that. I just wish I was there.
Yeah. You really missed something because it was insane. I mean, at least like every other person had an Ubuntu Touch device with them. So we took some pictures. I think we can maybe link them in the blog post because it's just beautiful to see. It was a great atmosphere, really positive, great fun. We also did some stuff there at Budokan. So we did, for example, a workshop where we worked on the QA plan to do some quality assurance for OTA 11, and think about how we can improve that process in the future, and stuff like that. We also did some work on the installer, even though but yeah, was really awesome. So recommendation for the next Budokan Europe if you can make it. I don't know where that's going to be yet, but it was truly amazing. And I want to say thank you very much to the awesome organization team, because it was really cool, really good to see.
You can actually see the picture where Jan was talking about on the screen right now.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, yeah. Cool.
Yeah. That's why the stream went black. You scared me. Like a lot. All right. So you met a lot of people. I heard there were a lot of talks on Ubuntu Touch while you were there.
Yeah. So Cybersheep and Matteo Salta from Web App Creator both did a couple of sessions. And Cosales, of course, Marcos Cosales from UNAV. I don't know. I'm sorry. I should have wrote down some stuff about this. No, it was really cool. Yeah. I also did some other things. Yeah.
Okay. Excellent.
And there will be recordings of all the talks.
Okay, that's what I was about to ask.
Released in soon. I don't know.
When they're all processed and ready to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for those, because they're going to be out. And I'm probably going to have to watch all of them.
Me too.
There was also, of course, many other interesting talks. So about other Ubuntu general or open source or privacy.
I'm sure there were some talks about snaps
as well. So Martin Wimpress was there, for example. Very, very cool conference.
Wow.
Was there any talk about flat packs?
There was no talk about flat packs, no.
I wonder why. All right. So while you were away, Marius was doing something a little closer to home, I think, and creating what might not seem that exciting, but bear with us, a subforum for new device ports, which are in progress to report on their status.
Yep. So this was something I did after actually myself trying to install something from the porting community, and I figured out everything is scattered everywhere, and this is an attempt to have a subcategory on the forum where we only post about the devices and how to install them, and how it's just consuming the installation easier and how to get in contact with the developer of it and what's working and what's not. So this is also coming together now with the community channels that is popping up. We are trying to get it more into a usable daily driver state, and that also means updates. And at some point, it also will come on the device pages under the community section. I'm doing some re-engineering there, so it actually builds automatically the devices, the source code. So yeah.
That was always a problem because we shipped pre-built binaries before, and that's not too great.
Well, not necessarily. We don't.
It's not
do
too bad, but it's also not too great.
No, well, we don't do that for Bacon, OnePlus One, and Fairphone
Right.
too. Just the old canonical devices.
Yep.
Because we don't have the source.
Yeah. So the first device to take advantage of this section was the Sony Xperia X, that is Suzu, and just the X, not the X Compact, not the XA, not the XA2. Sony Xperia X only. And you can head over to our forum at forums.ubports.com to find that information. If you got the Xperia X, he's got instructions for how to install Ubuntu Touch on it.
Yep.
Speaking of installing Ubuntu Touch,
Nice.
if I can make a beautiful segue here.
If we give it 30 seconds of time, I just want to mention that people are buying actually Xperia X now because Alfred is so positive about his port. A big thanks, because already people that wanted to have a new device and not a used one, or cannot get a used one, they are now jumping the bandwagon and say, yes, I want to have a Sony Xperia X because the port is working so nicely. So big thanks to Alfred, and he builds a small community in the community for Sony Xperia X users. So that sounds great.
And Vic
I
said
can
a post
see-
for the one.
I can just see the anger in Jan's eyes for ruining that segue.
That was such a perfect segue. How dare you? But took the time.
No, I didn't want to come back to Xperia X later when we are talking about the next topic, which Jan is going to present.
No, but obviously you are right. It's really cool that the
But also-
experience is happening.
But also, one other community device which is coming up now is the OnePlus 3. So it's not only one device, we actually have multiple devices coming up now, and it's getting exciting.
Yes, Vince just posted in YouTube live chat to say there's a post coming soon on the OnePlus 3, so stay tuned for that.
Okay, awesome.
Now Jan can go.
Yes, installing. So I already mentioned the installer in when we talked before, but 2 weeks ago, if you remember, I promised you that we would have a new release the next day, and you might be aware that did not happen. So the reason that is because we decided not to finish polishing what was there at that point, but to immediately go forward and deliver some more cool features, which we need also to support some of these new devices that are coming out now. And that is almost done. So we have a pull request. It's still in review, but it's going to be there very soon. So that includes the possibility to write really flexible config files for the installation process. So the way that worked so far was that you basically had a couple of variables that we could define in the API, and then the installer would do the installation, but it couldn't really address the complexity of all the devices out there and all the devices that are going to come in the future. And this new config file format can do that. So that's it seems like a minor change, but actually what was required under the hood there was really a lot. And I'm really proud of what we achieved there. And it's going to be there pretty soon. And then porters of new devices can also just write these config files themselves, put them out there so people can use them, people can try them, can see how it works, and then as soon as the port is on the community channel, for example, we can put the config file in the place where the installer gets them as well, so they will be installable for everyone. Yeah, that's going to come soon. I won't say a deadline this time because I will get yelled at again, but it's going to be there very soon. So you might actually be wondering why it is that right now we see so many new devices. Maybe we should clarify that a little. This is also in part because Edge is so mature now. So all of the Halium stuff only works with Edge basically, and doesn't work with what we had before. So this is yeah, mostly. So yeah, this is why we are seeing that now. Okay.
Yeah.
But it also the fact that Alfred and Ratachan and Notkit and Vincent has done an amazing job on all this. For example, both Ratachan and Alfred has done an amazing job on the camera side of things. Also, Andreas Bocani has done a great job on the compact side of things, and Mir. So a lot of stuff has gone into Halium. A lot of work has gone into Halium, and the beauty with Halium is that everyone else also benefits from their work. So for example, our Bouchon or KDE man can now also run 1+1 on his phone.
KDE man.
Yo, KDE man, what's
man.
up?
He's never gonna come back to these streams.
He's gonna hide forever now.
I would. I mean,
speaking about hiding forever, ARM64 has been hiding.
That was a segue.
Jan did
Yes.
much better.
So ARM64 has been ruling along for actually quite a long time, but hasn't really got the attention that it has now. Where's my camera? I've been running ARM64 as my daily driver now on the amazing port by Winston on the 1+1, 1+3, and I have to say it's amazing. It's so fast. Like, let me actually start an application. You can see the startup time. Okay, it started in the background because this is not the latest Unity 8.
Live
Let me try
demos
that again.
always fail.
Live porting with Marius. Where is the SIM card?
That's pretty fast. Ice.
Fastish.
Let me try the browser.
Sure.
And
You can try the browser. It's still the phone app.
start in it back. Okay, this demo is going so well. So let me start one other application just because this was going so incredibly well. Okay, the settings app is used to be really slow. And
So, to be fair, the browser did start, but it started in the background. That is a bug
Yes.
that we now need to fix because we just discovered it live again.
no, this is not using the latest Unity 8.
Okay.
So this is probably fixed because I remember fixing that.
Okay. Good work, guys.
Also,
Live finding bugs.
Speaking about ARM64, the PinePhone, the real PinePhone, is also running ARM64, which also in turn has the Halium port, which is why these two come together. But what's also interesting with the PinePhone is this runs Wayland. So every application here and the keyboard and everything actually runs on Wayland. And also the fun fact with the PinePhone now is that we have network. So I actually
Mobile
can
network,
send
LTE.
SMS. LTE, and so a lot of stuff is coming along with the PinePhone. And I kind of mix these two topics together, but they are so tightly integrated together because of ARM64. But also, it goes back to saying how amazing Ubuntu Touch just runs on everything.
Given enough work, given enough effort.
It
Bouchon
runs on
says
the Pine
jealousy.
book too.
Bouchon says jealousy. I assume that's in response to you having a Pine phone and we don't yet.
It might be because we have Mallet.
Oh yeah, keyboard is something to be jealous about.
Yeah.
You know we're badgering him and he can't be here to protect himself. Defend yourself from live chat.
No, it's about Pine phone, it says.
Oh.
I have a Pine phone, Bouchon. Well,
Okay, that's enough.
You are getting it next week. Don't worry.
Probably, yeah.
Hopefully.
I am also hyped for that. Well, let's interrupt this chat for a moment to thank our sponsors. So thank you to everyone who helps make Ubuntu Touch possible, in particular to our infrastructure sponsors, including Smooth's, Private Internet Access, DigitalOcean, and Packet.net. You're all making it possible for us to build the best darn mobile operating system that exists.
Exactly.
You're welcome. Also, thank you to our community sponsors on Patreon, including George Toma, Darko Balka, Thoralfsson, Laurentine Tilleman, Milan Eliv, Scott Marley, Renaud Mirkolev, Morgan McMillan, Sergio Shvetsov, and Yogesh Patad. If you'd like me to mispronounce your name as well, you can head over to patreon.com/UBports and choose the community sponsor level. Or if you want to find other ways that you can give us cookies, like Bouchon just did, you can head over to ubports.com/donate. And there we have Libra Pay set up, as well as a Bitcoin link and a direct link on PayPal. Thank you again to everyone who is helping make Ubuntu Touch on all of these devices possible. All right, let's get into some questions, shall we? So we take these questions every single show from our forum over at forums.ubports.com. And there in the news section, the UBports news account posts a post asking you to ask us questions and having the link to this live stream so you can sign up for updates when it's about to go live and everything like that. It's not called ringing the bell because that's not it. But we took some questions from there and we take those first. So this week we start off with Chrille, who says, a lot of work has been done on Unity 8. Does this mean that Unity 8 is becoming better for normal desktops too?
Yes. It's a short answer. But the long answer is that we brought in a lot of stuff that Canonical did before they dropped the project, but also worked on. So how this worked out is Canonical focused a lot on the desktop before they left. So what we have been doing the last months or so is bringing those changes, integrated those back to a phone interface. So yes, the interface for desktop is a lot better than what it is with the current one, but it's still far from being how we want it, basically.
Yeah. There's still some issues with launching apps and other fun things that just need to be done for desktop specifically. So.
Yep.
Okay. Tricky comes at us with, looking at GitHub on the Unity 8 Plus Mirror upgrade project, it's really astonishing how much work we've done so far. Looking at the really low number of issues that still have to be solved, when do you expect to move it from Edge channel to Devil and RC? So that process begins very soon, possibly the end of this week or the beginning of next week, if everything goes well on OTA 11. So, and also thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for that, and it is correct. A lot of work has gone into. That's also why you haven't seen me and Dalton, for example, in those OTA logs, the newer ones, because we have been so busy on Edge.
And yet at the same time, we're calling these small updates, and this might be one of the larger ones, OTA11 being the one. And that was entirely with contributions outside of the 4 you see here. So thank you to everyone.
Yeah. Thank you. And one thing I also wanted to mention is that our plan is to start merging everything into Devil as soon as we in the start of the cycle of next OTA. So that's why we are waiting for now. Waiting for OTA to be released. Then we can start merging everything into the new cycle, which is the development cycle of that.
Okay. So thank you for the question, Tricky. Gizmo Chicken asks, what's the projected timeline for rebasing Ubuntu Touch from 16.04 to 20.04? And in preparation for 20.04, would you consider something like an Edge systemd branch while still on 16.04? That's a rather in-depth technical question that the second part, at least, we won't be able to answer quite yet.
So I can answer it. I can answer it partially. So first, we don't really have a timeline yet because we don't know what, for example, what will be included in the newer update. We don't know if it requires our even newer kernel than the one that we have because systemd updates and all that. So this still have to wait to see how 20.04 matures. In a couple of let's see in the end of this month how the toolchain updates and all that has gone from Canonical. We can then start to actually build things into it. But what you said about having a Edge systemd branch is probably not too bad of an idea actually. But it will probably be done in parallel because a lot of stuff had to. So one of the major thing with bringing it into 20.04 is that Canonical removed many of the packages we have currently in Xenio. But at the same time, this is also a prime opportunity for us to more define our packages as our upstream, versioning them and all that. So it probably won't be out before, definitely not before next year.
Yeah, before 20.04 itself hits the area, hits the scene. Or is actually called 20.04 because it's just called Focal before that.
Focal, yeah.
So thank you, Gizmo Chicken, for the question. It is something that we have been thinking on and something that we need to continue to think on as we enter this strange new world.
Of systemd.
Systemd. It's not really that strange and new anymore, is it?
But Upstart was so much better.
Oh boy, here we go. Matt V1 asks, can you give us an update on the hardware enablement of the Pine tab for Ubuntu Touch? Given the similarities in hardware between the Pine tab, PinePhone, and Pinebook, it seems likely that the progress made on those benefit the tablet as well. Can we assume that it is in roughly the same condition as the PinePhone? The answer to that is yes and no. So out of all of us, Marius did not get a Pine tab. However, I did, and it's in or just being released from customs and shipping and everything for others. So I do have a Pine tab here. This is the Morph browser, and it is a little glitchy, to be honest. It's also rather slow to load stuff. Yeah, it's just a few black boxes at the bottom of the screen. It's slow. It's great. It's in great condition. Yeah, right. It also has problems with some texture loading, so I'm not going to pretend that it's a great ready for use port. But that's one of those things that those of us who have the hardware need to work on. And that just needs
to get myself one of those.
It just needs to get done.
You should maybe also mention the timeline of the Pine tab.
Yeah. So the Pine tab itself is currently waiting for an operating system that is ready for it. But Pine64 has also said that they would like to release the PinePhone before booting the Pine tab back up. So,
Yep.
I know that a lot of people are disappointed that they aren't seeing updates about that in the Pine 64 blog posts, but that's more because there aren't any updates coming that quickly. A lot of the effort right now is focused on the Pine phone, because that is a little bit more novel device and one that they want to get out the door first. So,
Bouchon is
Also
asking
a lot more
what you
complex.
just showed. Was that running Lima?
I believe so, because we
Yes.
never built a Mali
Yes.
image for that.
Okay.
Well, we did, but I removed it a long time ago.
Ah, that's right.
So yeah, this is basically running. Well, it is running exactly the same as the Pine phone.
But the Pine phone just runs better.
Yeah, because I've been working on it actively.
Yep.
I've not been working on the Pine tab.
Yep. So, sorry I couldn't give you a cheery, yes, this is perfect right now, but it's working. It's working on it.
Define
working on it.
define perfect.
I'm an imperfect being and I cannot define perfection. All right. What's next, guys?
So, I will just pick one from that I see from live chat. Any progress on the port for Raspberry Pi 4? So a little bit has happened here. So
I got
so
my
one of
first
the
Raspberry Pi.
Ooh, I got myself a 4 too.
Oh, I got myself my fourth Raspberry Pi.
No, you're 4. I have
No.
now. I have 12.
And
Well,
just like
yeah.
you, Marius, I opened it at the wrong end. So
I just ripped it out.
you're supposed to open boxes on the right side. I don't know why they made it the
But
left.
it's supposed to open like this.
Oh.
Yes, like a. But I just ripped it open. I don't have time for packaging dumbness.
Open here. I see that.
Yeah, it says open here.
We are stupid monkeys.
Yes, but who designed it so it opened this way anyway? You
I
open a
don't
package like this way. That's
Anyway,
like,
with that rant over.
but yeah, it's just plat. I'm gonna throw this away anyway. Does it matter? Nope.
That just hits the
So
keyboard.
no, it's just hit my desk. But more back on topic. So some of the progress that's been happening there is not much from last time. Mostly packaging has been a little bit structured. It has add firm. I never can say this word.
Firmware.
Firmware. Fuck. Firmware. Okay. So now it should have Bluetooth and Wi-Fi working on it. But that being said, I haven't personally tested it myself because I haven't had time. But I once I get time, I will actually test it. Or you can test it.
Yeah. There have been some people testing out different sized SD cards. People with larger than 64 gig SD cards have been complaining. I don't know if that's a Raspberry Pi limitation or something that we've done wrong in software. So that might be something that would be nice to look into if anyone has a large SD card, which I do not.
Well, it shouldn't matter.
It shouldn't matter. That's why it's really weird.
Yeah.
If other people could confirm or deny those reports, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Bouchon says it's not complicated like Deb packaging, at least. Yeah, that's true.
Well, at least that packaging you can open multiple ways.
And Aurelio
And you can package them
comments,
multiple
we
ways.
all opened it the wrong way.
Why did Raspberry Pi put time and money and effort into designing this?
They tried so hard and everyone just ripped the side.
Damn you, Raspberry Pi.
Why did you try to do something so cool? We are monkeys
But
who
it's not
cannot
cool.
appreciate your work.
the thing that's inside is so much more cooler.
Yeah.
But I agree. Just apparently, I have here in box for a Nokia headphone stuff, and that's how I opened it at the time when I needed it. So basically, I have also not time. I completely can understand this. Yeah. So
it's like
just
Let me in.
Look at developers being
Open
frustrated
sesame.
with technology.
Yes. That's actually true. That was Jan saying. We are getting most frustrated with technology that should just simply work, and then there is packaging around it. I mean, come on. Just make it easy for us.
And some packaging are just like bump.
No, guys, no. Keep it
You
on
need
track.
termite to open it.
Ubuntu Touch, come on.
Ubuntu Touch. Okay.
Okay, we have a question in the live chat. Thank you all for the great work you all have done so far. My question, what is the progress on NBox? So, NBox progress, not much in the recent past. It remains an important part of our plan for the future. So we definitely do want Android app support. But right now we have been so focused on getting Edge there because this is the more important part. This is crucial for making us future-proof. But yes, we definitely still want NBox. The community is growing. We are getting more contributors, so we are getting better at doing things in parallel. But what's there with NBox right now is basically a proof of concept that shows, okay, this can be done. And with more resources, with more contributors, we will definitely get it to a working state at some point in the near future. Right now, it's not 100% supported thing. Of course, we are aware that many of you would really like it, and that for many it is the reason they aren't using it full time. But yeah, we always have to prioritize our resources, so that's why it isn't there so far.
So one of the things that I've been saying before is also the reason why that was kind of bootstrapped in the first place was to see if we could get contribution into it now that it's up and running and it's easier to get going. But the thing with NBox is that it's so complex that it's just a high task to get into. And I think that's also a little bit of a barrier. And also the lack of a documentation, which is also my bad, but not only my bad. But I think a documentation for it would also be good. But even with documentation, it's such a complex piece of code
It's
because
still a bit of a brick wall.
Yeah, so it's but it is coming, as Jan said, but it definitely isn't coming before Edge and we also have other things that we want to fix before, like location D and switching out sensors and stuff like that.
Okay. Very Us Mumblings posted in live chat to say, I just recently installed Ubuntu Touch on a Nexus 5, and it works pretty good except MP4 video playback. It seems to be a permission problem. Do you have any thoughts? So that is a known bug. Thank you for bringing it up, but it is a issue that is caused. So I remember what this was before. Before it was MP4 playback would show up like the 90s with purple and green coloring, and now it just doesn't work at all. So I'm not sure which is better, but neither are particularly good. And it seems to be an issue with accessing those Android video codecs from within our libhybris Ubuntu system. So it's not just you, and it's not just permissions. Yep. All right. So I think we can wrap that up. So thank you, everyone, so much for joining us for the Ubuntu Touch Q&A. This has been episode 61. Wow. There's so much. Oh, newsflash. The OnePlus 3 and 3T port document has been posted in the porting section of the UBports forum.
Yay!
That was quick.
That was quick. Nice work. Go Vince.
Much love to much love to you, Vince. Much
Yeah.
love. Getting
Yes, thank
cringy,
you.
but
His
And I did buy an
sustain
Xperia
is
X,
great.
so Alfred, I have high expectations.
No, but both
Alfred.
those guys. I mean, you have to really have the passion and the sustain to dig through all of this. And I tried to port myself a few times. I gave it up again. I'm maybe not compatible with porting, so it's really kind of a personal thing also. So huge kudos if you are bringing a port in that stage that it's publicly testable and the people are giving feedback that's really positive. So yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
well, I've been porting since 2014. I still have nightmares. So
Android.
Well-
Android.
well,
Android.
keeping in mind back then it was no documentation and really.
Now it's some documentation. Okay. Anyway, continuing on. You can find us on a variety of social media, including... I need to go off the top of my head because I can't get to the page. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, PixelFed, Mastodon, and other such channels. I don't have the document in front of me, I'm sorry. You can also get in touch with us in real time using Matrix or Telegram. And if you'd like to chat about longer form content, you can head over to forums.ubports.com. That's also where you can chat about the things that we talked about in the show. Or you can leave a comment. I do read them, but we don't always reply. So thank you to everyone who comments. And thank you to everyone who's watching today. This is one of our largest streams we've had in a while, so thank you all who's been watching. Thank you to Bouchon for joining us and making yourself a small target for us.
As always.
And if you have any questions, of course, head over to the forums to get your questions in for the next one. We would love to have you, and we love to have you all live. Tux Digital, UBports, Tux Digital.
Yay! Yay!
You made
But
it
before
just
we
in time
end-
for it to end.
I have to say we also love Bouchon, man.
Yes.
He's a great guy. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Mr. KD.
Met him at Fosdem. Awesome guy.
Yeah, such a great guy.
We will see you all in episode 62 in a couple of weeks. Bye-bye.
Bye.